Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's the NFL podcast Laces Out. We've got a special guest with us, Mr. Stuart Woodmansey, and me and the co-host dive into the week of the NFL and the week that's gone and the week to come. So here we go. This is Cookiecast Laces Out.
You've scared me. What's the difference?
Yeah, it's not doing it. That's all I've been getting all week. Just a bloody grey screen.
It's very hit and miss, I find, anyway. Sometimes it's like, oh, do you want to sign up? Do you want to make an account? Got an account. Oh, don't know what to do with that information.
Because now, I normally, when I've been on with you guys, I'm like, yep, no, all games are. It's the same order because it's the one that you read them off, and then...
Oh, well, that's actually a good point. Because I use Pick'em to get the...
I'm going to... somehow... Where is the thing about clearing your cookies? On...
NFL Pick'em. No, straight in, I'm afraid.
Ah, it's screwing me over. Oh my god, my phone is turning into Paul's phone. Actually, it's not been working since the weekend, so maybe like it caught something off your...
Contagious?
Yeah.
Who's doing the intro?
Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to the show that sometimes ends, but more often than not will continue. Yes, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. We're into week 12 of the NFL season, so therefore welcome along to Laces Out, the Cookiecast, Yorkshire's number one NFL-based podcast, with host
Me.
one,
Me. I am the host.
co-host
This guy.
two, and I mean at this point is he just basically third co-host?
I think...
Third string quarterback.
Third wheel, is he?
You know when you think, yeah, that was a bad idea, wasn't it?
It's Stu Breeze.
Stu Breeze is there.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending upon when you listen.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And if I don't see you... Yeah.
Boom. Nailed it!
Oh,
So-
it's a coupon buster this week, it really is.
As in the games or the results from last week? Or a bit both? He's not happy, ladies and gentlemen.
He is not happy, ladies and gentlemen.
That
I'm
can
telling
only
you
mean
that.
one thing. That I've won the prediction.
Wow.
Spoilers are here already.
That's usually how it goes. He's usually pissed off
At
because
this moment,
I've won. So,
you are in the lead. Let's see if you keep that lead.
even though we've done this for like 12 weeks and a number of weeks from last year, I still forget the format. Do we do this week in the NFL? And then you go into stats?
And then we jump to the stats. Yeah. So I go, have you got anything to talk about this week? Anything notable from this week's game?
Well, I thought obviously as we were going to be discussing this team, I thought it would be probably quite a good idea to wear this jersey. But obviously, I don't think we can talk about anything else other than, players trying to
kill each other.
Yeah,
actually
basically.
kill each other.
physically actually trying to take someone's head off with the exact piece of equipment that should be protecting their head. Yeah.
There was a level of irony involved.
Beautiful.
I mean, obviously the irony wasn't lost on old Miles, but
Obviously, there's been a load of memes, and it's like, I don't understand the problem. He was just trying to put the helmet back on. What's the issue?
oh
No.
dear. Yeah,
I knew it was in there.
That confirms it.
It doesn't confirm it. All week, I've been sitting there going, no, I don't get a point for that.
There was a result where I was thinking, hang on a second, I think I might be the only one to have picked this. And then it didn't come in, so it didn't.
You were the only one to pick it, and it went the other way.
Son of a bitch.
Bad news, I'm afraid, Mr. Williams. Bad
Awful.
news.
Awful.
We'll come to that later. So I presume there'll be something in the stats about it. But do we just jump all over Myles Garrett the way he jumped all over
Mason Rudolph's head? I mean, you know it's bad when people from your own organisation are coming out and saying, "Yeah, he's gone a bit over the line there. He's overstepped the mark."
As I said earlier, I think suspended for the rest of the season is potentially the least of his worries.
Yeah, like you said,
because they're talking assault charges.
If there's criminal charges to be potentially brought against him, but it's the sort of thing in it. Like, I know they say this about any sport, but if you did that on the street, that is assault. Yeah. Basically.
Didn't they say within minutes of it happening, though, if the team hadn't suspended him, he would have made that the blacklist of the commissioner or whatever it is.
Oh.
So this falls back into the NFL versus whichever team, because obviously the Patriots had this with Brady. So the NFL were like, you're not going to suspend him.
What was it? The first 4 games he was supposed to miss at that season and ended up missing what?
Is this from Deflategate?
Well, yeah, but the Deflategate thing was supposed to then start the next season and it didn't. It got pushed under the rug a little bit and then it sort of came out that it sort of skipped through a year and then basically it was the season after the season they'd won the Super Bowl. No, hang on. Not the season after they won the Super Bowl. The season after the season they won the Super Bowl.
So it was like a suspended
it was basically suspended for a full season. And I think they ended up winning the Super Bowl that year as well. Jammy fuckers. Jammy bastards.
I mean, that doesn't sound like they are the Patriots after all.
Well, yeah, there's always talk of the league's got a vendetta against certain teams or certain players and stuff like that.
They're too good. That's the problem, and that is true. Although, something that's come up this week is maybe that's not the case.
Go on.
So they're saying that the Patriots are very much relying on their defence to win games,
basically,
because their O-line is pretty bad.
Their offence just hasn't got going yet this season.
Yeah.
Which is mental when you consider they put 50 points against certain teams.
I would always point out that there are certain players that the Patriots they're like, we're just going to put this player here. You don't need to look at that player. Don't look at that player. Julian who? No. I've never heard of anybody called Julian. Don't look in this corner over here.
You want to be careful there because that's the...
And then playoffs come round and suddenly a guy with a beard starts absolutely smashing other teams.
But bear in mind, that's the guy that's second on the playoff receptions. It's ridiculous. He's second all time in receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns in the playoffs behind Jerry Rice, who's arguably the best receiver of all time. So, but like you said, I'm pretty sure you've said it before, Brady's only getting warmed up between weeks 1 and 13. And then he sort of kicks into high gear for the playoffs. Yeah,
it's I want to walk from here to here and run the rest.
But it is that age-old thing of it is a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Yeah.
So why would you play your best football weeks 1 to 16? You're better off playing garbage.
It was the Eli Manning
and then
thing.
turning it on for the last 5 games.
The principle being was that Eli Manning didn't get out of bed before game 6. Problem being was that unfortunately he'd get out of bed game 6 and then be like, oh, we've probably left it a little too late to join this race.
Eli Manning, arguably the worst quarterback to win 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Oh my. Obviously the only other thing other than the Myles Garrett situation was the Colin Kaepernick situation.
So, I've heard 2 different stories about this. So I saw the NFL announce, it's a real shame that Colin made the decision not to turn up, and he informed ourselves and the media at 7:30 p.m. on the day that he was supposed to turn up. A couple of days later, it was like, oh, it was really good to see that Kaepernick turned up to his workout and how he performed and all these teams that are interested. I'm like, so did he turn up or not?
It was scheduled to be at the Falcons either training facility or practice facility or stadium or something like that. So it was supposed to be at Atlanta.
It was supposed to be.
He cancelled it however long before it was due to start and said, no, we're going to host it at
such and such.
a high school field
Yeah.
at a different location. It was apparently like half an hour's drive away from where it was supposed to happen. Yeah.
Also,
I
the
don't-
fact
I
that
don't really get it.
there were people in that state that were protesting him, which was,
This
you
is-
know, he's unpatriotic.
People say that like it's ridiculous that he can't get a job in the NFL, and then you've got like people starting like obviously when Bortles was at Jacksonville and stuff, it was like how the hell can he get like a starting gig and Kaepernick can't even get back in the league?
I was wondering how Bortles found the field
Well,
sometimes.
I mean, just like no offense, but Colin Kaepernick's not like an elite level quarterback. His last season in San Francisco, he was absolute garbage. He got benched at one point. I think.
pretty terrible.
So it's got to a point where it's got bigger than him playing the game. It's now about like I know like the majority of it's all race related and it's this Black Lives Matter thing and stuff like that.
All
And it's-
lives matter.
Well, yeah, but it's just I think it's gone past the point of no return now. I mean, he can have all these like tryouts and whatever and work days, whatever he wants, but I think he's been out of the league too long now to come back and make a difference or have an
So,
impact and things like that.
the
It's-
NFL announced
it's not good.
their statement that they released said, as far as we're concerned, Colin Kaepernick remains what he was before this workout, a free agent with the NFL, and is free to go to any team he wants to.
That's the thing. I don't think at any point they've ever put any restrictions on him.
Apparently, 25 teams turned up to that.
I wouldn't be surprised if all the teams that looked at him, like I mean,
And there was a
with
thing
the
about
exception of like the
videos.
Chiefs, the Texans, like you know the teams that have got quarterbacks that are only just starting their career that they don't really need to look at unless obviously they get an injury. But there are plenty of teams that could use another quarterback. But I mean, it's not. You're not just signing at this point. You're not just signing him. You're signing all the baggage that comes with him. You're signing the sort of the media shitstorm that comes with him. But that's what it's going to be. Sadly, it's not just going to be a straightforward case of you signing a quarterback who's going to come in and make your team instantly better. Because obviously he's going to have to learn the playbook that they've got. That's going to take time. There's no guarantee. I mean, obviously, like seeing a few of the drills and stuff, he's still got the arm. He bombed one for about 60 yards and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean,
he's obviously
you know,
got the arm strength and stuff like
He
that.
will
but
keep his hand in, I imagine.
the problem I've got is he's 32. He's not a young man.
Spring chicken at this point in time.
So-
Especially league-wise, he's not a spring chicken.
No, but obviously he's not a 32-year-old that's got 10 years worth of playing in the NFL on the back of his like shoulders and stuff.
No.
He's only had 3.5 years, maybe 4. I think that he was a starter in the NFL, so he's not exactly low tread on those tyres, so to speak.
Mm.
I suppose watch this space, see what happens.
Indeedy. The stats mistress has been dropping the ball.
God.
She has done the stats. However, it came with a caveat, and that caveat was the stats are done, but they probably need trimming down. I have not had the time to do that, so some of these look meaty. There are 18, and there's
No, that's 19. I know it was 19. I put my thumbs aside.
We'll see how we get on. If it starts getting long in the tooth, I'll pull the ripcord. This is the Week 11 stats of the 2019 season, as provided by the Stats Mistress and stolen from Nate Davies of USA Today.
So
legitimately.
So it's via the stats mistress from her brother
Obviously.
over in the States.
Across the pond.
Good lad.
Post Steelers loss, they need time to physically recover after running back James Conner
You don't look happy about this.
and wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson were among those knocked out of the game. And time to recalibrate after a scattershot. Rudolph saw his season interception total double from 4 to 8. I watched the Rams game.
Mm-hmm.
That was the late one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Monday Night
That
Football.
was
Yeah.
Rams Bears. Yeah, that was
Oh my god,
tough sledding.
that
Tough
could
sledding.
be.
I've got something about that written down, so we'll see if it comes out.
That could be the worst game of football I've ever seen. It was.
It was the worst.
It was like, 3 and out. Oh, 3 and out. You know when they're like, this defense has been on the field too long. Look at them, they're tired. To me, they should have been saying that about like the punters, because Jesus, they were the player that was on the pitch the most. It's like 3 and out. 3 and out. Oh, it's 3 and out. Number 2. The Patriots will finish above 500 for the 19th consecutive season, or every year since quarterback Tom Brady became the starter in 2001. But let's not pretend there isn't serious concerns about an offense that reached the end zone once Sunday and averaged 3.4 yards per rush, while Brady laboured to pass for 216 yards on an ungodly 47 attempts. Obviously, we've already spoken about this. We've already mentioned it. They are riding the defense. Back years back was Super Bowls where it was this defense versus this defense, and may the best defense win.
Mm-hmm.
And the phrase of, the best defense will win the Super Bowl. Presumably, that's what we're working with here, but that stat is it should be a bit of a wake-up call. Number 3, holy
Just going back to that,
shit, it's long.
the Patriots Eagles game. I don't know if it was the very first possession, but quite early in the game they pointed out the fact that the Patriots must have punted on either the first or second possession, and the commentator was like, "Okay, so they've now had as many punts in this game as they did in the Super Bowl, or they've already had more because they didn't punt once."
Unless there's anything on the back of that, Patriots-wise as well, one of the things I've picked out, obviously everybody knows Tom Brady. That's what he does. He's the most famous, probably, if you've never heard of American football before, you've still probably seen or heard of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's the Hulk Hogan of the NFL.
So his job is to make throws, right?
Well, yeah.
Apparently in that game, Edelman had the longest throw in the whole game.
I don't know if you were doing that because you were a snap.
I don't know. I've literally today has not been the day for.
Not his first touchdown that he's thrown in the NFL. He did it in a playoff game, I believe, once against the Ravens.
I saw a stat about Carson Wentz, and it wasn't a stat; it was the stats. Obviously, I was explaining to the stats mission. I was like, the Eagles' slogan being "Fly Eagles Fly." The stat started, "This eagle does not fly," and it was, "This is what he's done so far this season," and it was appalling.
Is it just a graph that went?
It was like. There's something about he has the worst fourth quarter stats as a quarterback, and the last time he threw a touchdown was September. I think it was the 28th of September or something. Right, this is a long one, so strap in, boys. Number 3. With Russell Wilson on bye, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson continued to burnish his MVP credentials with 86 rushing yards and 4 touchdown passes, while leading the league's top scoring offense to 41 more points in a rout of Houston. Jackson, now on pace to rush for a quarterback record 1,261 yards, is the first passer to run for at least 60 in 7 straight games. Jackson's 1,483 career rushing yards are also the most of any quarterback in his first 2 seasons. For context, Peyton Manning had 667 rushing yards in 18 seasons. For further context, Brady has 1,005 career rushing yards and is averaging 2.4 inches per attempt this year. I love it when they break out the inches in these.
Amazing. Oh God, yeah, but Tom Brady wasn't built to run, was he? Wasn't his like
I don't
40-yard dashing from like 8 minutes?
I don't think his legs were. I think his legs might be made of wood.
If his ankles aren't now made of glass, then I will be amazed.
Number 4. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson's MVP candidacy was shattered at the hands of Jackson and the Ravens. The Texans also fell into a first-place tie with Indianapolis in the AFC South and are now only a game up on the Titans. Watson's team lost by 34 points in Baltimore. The Texans have never lost by more than 8 in his first 31 NFL starts. I don't want to be that guy, but it's all about the Ravens today, kids. Number 5, Ravens kicker, Justin Tucker. Also saw his MVP case go by the boards. He surely wasn't happy to finally miss on a field goal attempt this season. So, there was a stat in the game. Was it 19 consecutive?
They did this to 2 kickers on Saturday.
Yeah, it was something like...
And it was one of those that they released the start before
they always
he made
do this. It was something like, I think he made...
Device the kicker with a stat.
But this is the thing, because it's sort of, they always adjust it to make it more relevant. So it was on a streak of something like 34 field goals made from within so many yards.
Yeah.
So it's like, so he might have missed one within the last
Sunday.
6 weeks.
The commentator was like, I mean, you couldn't have timed it any better to bring out that stat.
Exactly.
Because he then missed it.
But
It's
yeah,
like,
again,
you literally made him miss that.
It's the standard. Let's pull out a stat that makes that is absolute bollocks at the end of the day, but we'll make it relevant to the thing we're talking about now.
Number 6, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has racked up 841 yards passing and 6 touchdowns over the past 2 weeks. With little help from Dallas's run game, DL Michael Bennett has 3 sacks in 3 games since joining the Cowboys. Number 7, the Bills will very likely reach the AFC playoffs, limited as they are. But don't blame a defence that continues to perform at an elite level. It racked up 7 sacks Sunday in Miami and hasn't permitted 400 total yards in the last 22 games.
Jesus
The
Christ.
longest streak in the league.
That when they're playing at home in winter on Thanksgiving with turkey in the bottom of their shoes. No? Too specific? Or?
Oh,
Can you
Right.
be too specific? I mean?
the Jets have scored 68 total points in their last 2 games, 34 apiece against the Giants and Washington. After scratching out just 96 in their first 8 contests, but at least the Skins finally snapped their franchise record string of quarters without a touchdown at 16.
Can you imagine being a fan of the Washington Redskins?
I saw somebody post on the UK NFL fan group on Facebook, and they were like, "I'm a Redskins fan," and it was that's how it started. It was like,
As you were reading it, could you hear that da-da-da-da-da music in the background?
it was. Then they went on to say, and you got to give them the dues when they couldn't take the piss out of themselves. It was like, I always enjoy the bye week because at least we're not getting pound.
We saw somebody, didn't we, at the weekend, full on Redskins hat and jersey, walking around in town like it was okay to do that.
I mean, there's like...
Well, non-ironically.
I think they covered it on the...
No sign of losing a bet.
They covered it on the Around the NFL podcast. They said something like, apparently on like fan ticket exchange websites or stuff like that. Or it might not have even been that. It might have even been on the actual Redskins website. There were still tickets that you could have got for $10 or something like that.
I was going to say they won't
like,
even be able to give them away.
Just like
They'll be out in the parking lot.
I mean,
with,
like,
ticket.
I think we might have covered this. We might have covered this in the podcast earlier in the season. It was a case of like, fair enough. If you support a team like the Dolphins, this season's going to be shit because you know they're tanking the season because they want to get as high a draft pick as possible.
Which is all fine and well. Yeah, we said originally.
So obviously,
it's still painful to watch.
They're tanking, but they're tanking for a good reason for like the future. The Redskins
are just bad.
No one knows what's going on.
I mean,
with
obviously,
that
you could
franchise.
be a Bengals fan if you want.
Oh my god, yeah, that's particularly bad.
I was just thinking, maybe you could have sold those tickets to an away fan, and then I just remembered it was the Jets that were playing, so struggled to sell anything.
If you want games that really were painful, Denver's soul-crushing loss at Minnesota after building a 20-0 lead at half-time.
If you don't bring it up, I've got the stat to
Might also serve
to back this one up
as a springboard for the Vikings team that could be the most underrated Super Bowl contender at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Minnesota running back Delvin Cook passed 1,000 yards rushing for the first time in his career. The last Viking back not named Adrian Peterson to do so was Chester Taylor in 2006.
Who?
Number 11, the Jaguars.
Oh, whoa. So, at one point the Broncos were 20-0 up, yeah?
Yeah.
They brought out a stat, as we know the National Football League loves to do, that apparently there have been the past 99 games where a team has been 20-0 up, that team has always gone on to win. So this would have been a nice round 100.
Yep.
But no. Fuck you, Denver. And Flacco's not even there to bail you out this time.
100.
You can go fuck yourselves.
For the 100 seasons.
Would have been perfect, wouldn't it? But no. Denver decided to just shit the bed. As always.
Peyton, is that retirement still? Yeah.
Was it when they'd either got back to 7 or back to 14, and I text you and I going, Denver are going to shit this, and sure enough, there we go.
Yeah. There'll have been people sat in that stadium just going, don't get confident. We're only up by 3 touchdowns.
If you ever need to show anybody the importance of not switching off at half time, that was it. That was absolutely it.
Number 11. The Jaguars have 1 rushing touchdown this season.
Oh my.
1.
Please tell me that was scored by Leonard Fournette.
I presume it can only have been scored by Fournette.
Oh, unless the Tash himself just rushed one in before he was unceremoniously benched.
Number 12. The Saints, all of them, to include Drew Brees, 3 touchdown passes.
Drew Brees?
Alvin Kamara, 122 total yards. The defence, 4 interceptions, rebounded nicely from their Week 10 flop against Atlanta. And congrats to Saints running
wide receiver
Michael Thomas, the first person in league history to catch 90 balls. 94 actually.
It's
in just 10 games.
Isn't like something ridiculous like the all-time receptions record for a season, something like 134 or something like that. So apparently he's going to absolutely nail it.
He's also the first man to ever surpass 90 receptions in each of his first 4 seasons and remains on pace to become the first with 150 in a single campaign.
Yeah. So it must obviously I don't know what the exact number is, but he's on pace. He's on pace to absolutely smash it.
But then, if you were the defensive coach coming up against that side, would you not be like, this guy?
Yeah, but what do? You can't just say right, double cover him, because then there's just like Ted Ginn going, "Ooh, hello," and then you've obviously got that's the problem for teams playing against the Saints is that you've got that. Then you've got Jared Cook, who's there just doing nothing. You've got Alvin Kamara that you've got to mark if he's lined up as a receiver. It's tricky, and and Michael Thomas is big. He's a big lad, so obviously he's got I'll just climb this ladder and just cheers, thanks.
Number 13, Jameis Winston has already tied a career high with his 4 interception day, boosting his 2019 total to 18.
18? Fucking hell, that's worse than 1 a game. Even if he plays a full season.
Maybe the book should sign Colin Kaepernick.
Oh dear.
Just prepare yourself, because that's not the only time Kaepernick gets a mention. Number 14, appears the Rams are finally ready to unleash running back Todd Gurley, whose 28 touches on Sunday for 133 yards were 9 more than he'd received in any previous game this season. 15, Or maybe the Panthers need to call Kaepernick. After going without a pick in his first 4 starts this season, quarterback Kyle Allen has 9 interceptions in his past 4. 3 of them losses. Of course, if Allen continues to lose his grip, rookie Will Greer would surely get a shot before Kaepernick.
Yeah. I wonder if they're starting to rethink that. Should we just let Cam go at the end of the season or trade him somewhere?
I think they should take Cam out of the back and shoot him in the head.
Wow.
Do you know, tell us how you really feel about it.
Quite literally,
I mean-
shots fired.
I mean, I'll do it, you know, just saying.
You just don't like him because of his crazy fashion sense.
He's a dickhead. And I'm a man who owns a Cam Newton jersey. He's a dickhead. He's become more of a dickhead since I got the jersey.
Oh my god.
16. The Bengals are 0-10 for the second time in franchise history and have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. I mean, at which point would that happen?
boo. They were going to pull it round and everything.
They were definitely going to pull it back. After benching Andy Dalton, they were like, we've got this one in the bag, boys.
They're pressing to know that you
They've
can't.
got to go for 0-16 now.
No, because that's just like, yeah, that's too depressing, isn't it?
But it's kind of like...
I suppose at this point, what have they got to lose other than?
And 6 games.
Another 6 games.
This is the thing. This is the thing.
In fact,
Do you know what? At this point, they might as well just think, yeah, bollocks to it. Let's lose and let's at least get the best. Let's get at least the best draft pick we can get.
you get a
And
record.
literally, we've got
get a record.
everyone to pick from. So, because at this point, if they lose even one, I think the Skins will probably have the higher draft pick than them
Yeah.
because of strength of schedule and stuff like that. Because they've had to play the Patriots.
2 to go. Shout out to the Raiders rookie, DE Max Crosby. Max with 2 X's. Who notched 4 sacks Sunday. The first Oakland player to do so since Khalil Mack in 2015.
And finally,
nice to see Adam Vinatieri have an easy day at the office given how rare they've been in 2019. While becoming the first Colt to score 1,500 career points, he also broke the record for the most field goal attempts in NFL history. 710.
congratulations at throwing your leg at a ball. I mean, what is this? What is this?
I like the fact that they quantify that with attempts.
Yeah, I was a bit like... That's the end of the stats for the week. Anybody got anything? You said you had a couple of bits and bobs.
Well, one that I wrote down specifically for you, because I know how much you are a big fan of this man. You mentioned the Rams game being an absolute snooze fest earlier.
I think... So I watched it... I'd watched it at the game in 40, and 10 minutes into the game in 40, I was like, this game is awful.
The one that caught my eye was that it said that Goff only had 11 completed passes the whole game.
Wow.
Like Cam Newton was the problem with the Panthers, although they haven't done massively better without him. I mean, they had those 4 games, but Jared Goff is hands down the problem with that team.
The back end of the stat also read that they had more punts, which was 6, than third down conversions, which was 3.
Yeah. The whole game was 3 and out for both teams. There was a bit where the commentator was like, look at these 2 teams last season. You look at the Bears and the Rams last season, they were world beaters. Look at them now, they can barely make it onto the field. I saw Goff not once but twice throw a ball to a Rams player that had 4 Bears players stood round him. Not once, but twice did he do that. How many times in this season of this podcast have I said Jared Goff, you can trust him to throw the ball, no matter what. Oh, is there a man in front of the man I'm throwing to? Ah, well. It's freaking bonkers.
I knew you'd enjoy that one, so I couldn't help but write that down when I saw it. But yeah, the other thing was the Lamar Jackson stats, which seemed to be absolutely nuts, but you covered them. Unfortunately for me, I was playing against him in fantasy this week. However, I'm sure we'll get to that.
I'm sure we will.
So
that was what I was going to bring up. In fact, I think I had the stats from the stuff at the words will come eventually. I'd got up the league leaders stats, so obviously like the passing leaders, rushing leaders, receiving leaders, stuff like that. So obviously the leading passer is Dak Prescott, over 3,000 yards. So you've got 3,221. Then you've got Philip Rivers at 3,169. Jameis Winston is the third highest passing leader. And then this is why I brought it up. So Christian McCaffrey is the leading rusher with 1,059 yards. Dalvin Cook is second with 1,017 yards. He's played a game more than him. So obviously,
and it will always be that stat until the back end of the season.
So Dalvin Cook's on bye this week. So it's the last 4 teams have their bye this week.
Yep.
So obviously, if Christian McCaffrey has like an absolutely mental day, he could be almost 200 yards ahead of him.
I seem to think they've got a tough game this week, though. I think they're away at New Orleans.
Oh dear.
And they didn't exactly have a delightful day last weekend, did they?
Well, no, they did not. But yeah, that was it. It was just the fact that McCaffrey's the leading rusher, and he's played a game less.
I mentioned they got hammered, didn't they?
The Panthers, they got it put to them a little bit.
So they lost 29-3
by the resurgent Falcons.
But McCaffrey still scored 19 points on
because he's a fucking monster. He doesn't. There's basically the rules for like the running backs in the league, and then there's the rules that Christian McCaffrey plays by, which is basically get your dick out and just start swinging.
Unfortunately, we are going to move into the fantasy section, and unfortunately for me, I'm going to mention a lot of my other league for a couple of reasons. One of them is I needed to pick up a quarterback.
Been there, brother.
So I picked up. This is in the other league. I picked up Matt Ryan.
The fact that Matt Ryan is available in your other league disgusts me.
So, Sunday just gone, there was a statistic for Matt Ryan that the Falcons are the team that throws the ball the most. It was like 33.1% of their plays is through the air. It's like, that's why if you have the opportunity to have Matt Ryan on your fantasy team.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
He should not have been available to pick up.
I think there was a week where he had like 34 points. Or something.
I think he's just gone maybe 10th on the all-time.
And I think these are points in time where they lose. It's insane. They can lose games and he can be like 300 plus yards. Speaking of fantasy football, let's talk fantasy football. I mean, I don't want to dwell on certain elements of the fantasy football.
Is that element that
I don't want to talk about certain elements.
Is that element that you don't want to talk about the fact that I'm top of the league and I thought you were doing that to me then, as if to say, "Oh, my hands over your head, you have to stop talking."
Yeah, I was stopping people talking on a podcast.
Let me put it this way.
Play something to Stu.
Okay, go for it.
Go on.
No, you go first.
I need Stu because you need to settle a debate.
Right. Okay.
That is it going on in my house currently. Which is worse? Paul goes all the way through the season with a fairly decent record, goes all the way through the playoffs, winning, gets to the last game, and either wins or loses. Which is worse?
For the good of the league, in a way, you kind of need him to win because you'll finally get a trophy from what I hear.
This is bullshit. No, because the worst thing is, I'm in a right bind here. Because if I win, I can't buy the trophy.
Because I'll get
absolute shit for it. But if I lose, I'll be gutted that I've lost. and I don't really want to buy a trophy to make myself feel better to then have to give it to Toots, who's managed to even though he's like 8th, he's still managed to win it or something like that. He's found a loophole.
Give him his full title now, the Resurgent Toots.
No, don't, because I think he's still hanging on to the absolute like dregs.
He can't get in now.
Well, hang on. So he's on 4 and 7, so you can finish 6 and 7, and the 4th playoff spot is still 6 wins. You better win this week.
Who have you got this week, Stu?
This week, I've got...
Holy shit!
Is it not the most dangerous man in the league?
It's the most dangerous man in the league!
Somebody who I've already lost to this season.
Well, no, that
no!
To be fair, that actually works out quite well because... Oh, no.
Oh, he's got an empty defence. The Chiefs are on a bye.
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't got Big Pat. He's going with his backup.
Drew Brees.
Brees. But he doesn't have a defence in at the moment.
That in itself, though, that's what we were just saying about New Orleans playing the Panthers. Essentially, my highest scorer going against the opposing quarterback, so whichever team actually wins that game is probably going to...
Well, it doesn't normally work that way. I mean, like, you can still lose and score big points.
As of last week, but...
Did you ever win this week? Or should...
Andrew, I am currently on a winning streak of 5. So you could...
Stuart, did you ever win this week?
Question.
I did. For the first time in a week, I think. I think I lost the week before, but... spent the weekend in the company of Mr. Moore and Mr. Williams.
Hello.
Oh.
I hadn't realised that I was actually playing Matt the weekend that we were sort of seeing.
So when we arrived there on Friday, I believe within like seconds of us arriving there, he was like, "I didn't realise I was playing you until just today."
No, I didn't.
And then it sounded exactly like that as well. That was pretty much the exact sound. Well,
the regular listeners that have heard me on other things will
I
regularly do Scooby-Doo impressions all over the place.
I also recorded a win this week. Now, this is the first point where I'm going to mention my other... this is the second point I'm going to mention my other league. In my other league, I was playing against somebody who had, you know, that thing where all their players have played, and they had a score of 91. I had one player to play, and I had a score of 90. That player, ladies and gentlemen,
2 points?
1 point.
Was Tyreek Hill.
Right. I didn't see the game. Bageled. No way.
Yeah, that's right. Tyreek Hill, who got 0 points to lose me the game.
I just feel that we need to just scale this back a little bit. I'm seeing something in the league that is worrying me.
This week's matchup.
No.
Now that I've set my line.
Do you know who the lowest point scorer in the league is? Which team? Without looking.
I'm already on it.
No. The lowest overall points scored has been scored by the team in 3rd position.
Is that Stuart Woodmansey?
No.
It is Leanne Davies.
She in 3rd?
She's in 3rd position because she keeps getting absolute cupcake matchups.
Is this where you bring out your catchphrase of she shithoused her way to win? So.
That is literally the epitome of shithousing your way to a championship.
So at this point in time, she's going into the playoffs.
Oh yeah. As it stands, I've got to play this fucking juggernaut in the playoffs.
I mean, you know, been called a few things, but
going up against Christian McCaffrey in the playoffs? No, thank you. For 2 weeks? No, thank you.
Obviously, this week is going to be a very interesting week in fantasy, ladies and gentlemen, because the powerhouse that is the Travago Heroes,
without their talisman,
goes up
he's
against...
on bye. Oh, that's what we didn't realise, that the Chiefs Chargers game was in Mexico.
It was, yeah.
Totally missed that.
Yeah, I only saw it like after the fact.
Yeah.
I was like,
bloody hell, that stadium looks full.
Oh. It was a Mexico game.
I found that out just now.
So
I watched some of it.
That home field advantage that we were talking about for LA.
Mr. Williams goes up against Mr. Cook. It's host versus co-host. League leader versus...
assistant to the co-host.
second of the league.
Andrew, 1.5 games back on.
At this point in time, Mr. Cook is 2 points projected.
Do you know why that is? It's because obviously my tight end is Travis Kelce, and I didn't have a backup tight end, so I've had to basically just take anyone who had any sort of
as
a
we
name.
know, tight ends are, they're 10 a penny.
So Dallas Goedert, the backup tight end at fucking Philadelphia.
Oh, well, I mean, I've got Greg Olsen, so...
Yeah, but at least he's the starting tight end for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, he gets loads of play. I think he's projected like 4 points. By the way, anybody that wants Saquon Barkley, he's free to a good home. Because he is fucking awful.
I'll take him. I'll take him for a kicker.
Yeah. Honestly, he's terrible. Stuart.
Watch him bench him and he scored about 80 points this week.
Who are you going up against this week?
I've got
the most dangerous man in the league.
It's currently. I hate trusting these predictions because it's
the projections
so
are worth
far
absolute bollocks.
Currently reckons I'm in for a win, but that's as we mentioned, Cole's not got a defence in.
That's a nice quarterback you got there.
Mr. Ryan. He's come back from his injury though, hasn't he? So he's scored a few points, so we'll let him off now.
Oh, that's not fun. Probably the third place in the league, which I'll be addressing later on. It'll probably be tomorrow at this point. Goes up against the dead bottom of the league.
Rob Rafton, poor bastard. He's had some tough sledding losses.
As we've mentioned though as well, that'll probably continue because Leanne will probably get like 3 points more than him.
So what will happen is it'll be a record low scoring week where like Rob gets like 26, but Leanne ekes out a 27-point win or something.
Yeah, I think just watching the scores this week though, it felt until half time like there was not that many fantasy points kicking around. The second half, it just took off.
You tend to get that some weeks. If you watch Red Zone like most weeks, there'll be some games where like the backup running back, the backup wide receiver, the backup tight end gets the scores, and Scott Hansen just goes, that
never happened.
It's a touchdown scored by, oh god, well that doesn't help anyone's fantasy team. And it's like, oh yeah, absolutely.
When this week when I was playing Matt, Lamar Jackson was keeping him in that tie at one point, and then he went off with like half of the last quarter to go. They didn't
need to risk him for the fourth quarter, so they just benched him, put RG3 in.
Pretty sure that because we didn't really get a text about it until after the event, but I'm sure I could hear screaming in the background from the northeast.
Well, it was ironic actually because they actually covered it on the news that local man breaks TV in rage.
Yeah, sorry.
I nearly text the group every time Mark Andrews was bringing in touchdown.
So he wrestled on Friday, caught touchdown passes on Sunday.
Was it 2 touchdowns he caught on Sunday? I was like,
why do you ask? Why do you ask the man that owns him?
For the third time, I've mentioned in my other league, Rob Rafton, as I've said before,
reverse of his stats in this league.
Is the reverse in our other league. He is not only top, he's miles ahead of anyone else. He's got Paul's record in our other league. I think he's 10-2 or something. It's crazy. So that's the fantasy for not the season, for the week.
Last week's predictions.
Look at last week's predictions, shall we, Paul? What do you think? What do you reckon?
Well, it was the guest. The guest wasn't a guest last week, was it? It was Leanne's, but she picked them prior to the show.
So she sent
them to me
her picks.
I think Leanne has won this week. Should have been 13 games.
14 games.
I thought 16 were on by last week.
14 games.
Someone picked 13, correct?
3 people picked 3 scores in all double figures.
It's a good week.
if I'd have been here, you could have counted 4 because I also had double figures on my pickers.
So,
in no particular order, but
in
a very particular order.
in a particular order, we'll go last place first. This guy with 11. That's 11 out of 14.
And that's last place.
And that's last
It's very
place.
respectable, Andrew.
Paul Williams,
12 out of 14.
12 out of 14.
Leanne only got 1 wrong. That is
Whoa.
mental.
To tie
Ooh.
with the guest.
That's a 0.5 win.
12.
Or, well, obviously it's a draw, but in America they class it as half a win, don't they?
I would just
'Cause
like...
they're fucking weird.
I would just like to point out the point where I went, I want to put the lines down for this game.
Andrew, why would you do?
That's the
Although to be
difference.
fair, I did pick the Eagles.
You did pick the Eagles.
Did I also pick the Cardinals?
No.
Because at one point I was trying to work out whether
You
I'd picked
nearly
the Cardinals.
You nearly did.
Almost paid off.
So who were the 2 you got wrong then? The Eagles.
Eagles.
So you
and,
shit the bed on the Eagles.
Don't tell me I'll be able to work it out. I'm not going to be able to work it out.
And
was
you
it the
joined
Panthers?
me picking the Panthers.
Yeah.
So I also picked Panthers.
Falcons are they're on a bit of a resurgent path at the minute. I quite like
Yeah,
it.
a bit of a weird one. So this week, you guys know how the scoring works. It is whoever our guest is
Hello.
plays the role
It's this guy. It's
of the
I
guest.
know I've said it about 8 times now, but
It's
it's
Stu
Stu Breeze.
Our guest plays the role of the guest. The guest gets their scores rolled up over each of the weeks. They are going up against my good self and my co-host to see who wins at the end of the season. Obviously, there'll be a trophy. We are... Oh, I haven't written it. We are week 12. Week 12. I have a selection of games. I've taken these from NFL Pick'ems, so if they're in the wrong order, take it up with them.
Will you just go ahead and blow me?
We will rotate, starting with the Colts versus the Texans, and I'm
Thursday night football.
going to our guest.
Oh, how very kind.
I'm going to start off somewhat controversially, and according to the Pick'ems, I'm going for the Colts.
So it must be in Houston.
It is.
I'm with you on this one, actually. I think the Colts are going to have a little W. Ms. Williams,
Texans, please.
I'll put you down for the Colts, yeah.
So they've both got an identical record, and it's in Houston. I mean, the Colts seem to have some sort of Indian sign over the Texans, but this is the week that is erased from history.
The Buccaneers versus the Falcons.
Oh, God. It's the beginning of the games that no one cares about, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it me? Or has this season just felt like week after week of, I couldn't care less about these games? I mean, you know, you sit down and you watch them and you're pleasantly surprised.
I don't think it's necessarily just this week. I mean, obviously, like, no one thought that the Jets-Giants game would be the absolute stonker that it turned out to be, but I think more often than not, there's more games that you don't really care about than there is games that you want to watch.
Maybe they're working on the principle of you have low expectations and it's ever so slightly better than that, so you enjoy it more.
He's onto something there, his old Stu. Classic Breeze. Classic
We'll go
Breeze.
back the other way. Mr. Williams, Buccaneers, Falcons.
Falcons. I reckon they, like, I don't think they will, but they could end up with, like, they could end up going 8-8 here if they sort of, like, round out the season. I don't think they will, but
Yeah,
they're probably
I mean,
going to be closer to like a 5 and
This is another game that
7. Oh no, hang on, I can't do that maths. 5 and 11.
And
Oh, Jesus
I
Welcome
agree.
to Mathscast.
Fuck me.
I agree with you. Falcons.
Stick it as a clean sweep then.
Really?
Watch Winston have like a 8 touchdown, 750 yard game or something.
The Broncos versus the Bills. I'm putting the Bills down.
Same.
Because I think
The
they
Broncos suck dick.
Well, there is that, yeah. But I think the Bills are doing reasonably well.
Is your mate back yet?
Hopefully, the franchise will have seen what an utter shithouse he is, and they will never start him again. Although apparently there's rumours doing the rounds that he's not injured. He's been removed from the team because of his fucking big mouth. Because he was slagging off the team.
Well,
so
seeing as the Broncos played so well in the first half last week, I've gone for the Bills.
I think there's a lot to be said about that Bills defence.
Yeah.
Did you say there was the stat that they hadn't given up 400 yards in any game in like 22 attempts or something like that? That's not to be sniffed, that.
The Bills generally roll out a good defence.
Yeah, they've had a good defence for a number of years now.
The Giants versus the Bears.
Oh, God. Is it possible for both teams to just
lose?
Just basically just go... or just jump into the hole?
Stew.
Bears.
Yeah,
Some of them,
same.
Yeah.
Probably in a blowout, to be honest with you.
It was.
Oh my
It
God.
was coin toss, but essentially they're at home, aren't they? So.
Oh, I've just seen the next game.
It's good, isn't it? It's a good one.
Oh.
I mean, I'll put you all down for the Bengals. Or
Do you know what?
is it just Steelers across the board?
Do you know what?
Steelers
They're gonna win a game
I don't
at
think
some
they are.
point. The Steelers aren't good.
The Steelers aren't good.
And they're going to have a big hole in their side, aren't they, after last week's shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
Plus, I think AJ Green might actually be back. He might actually start this game. Do you know what?
You doing it?
Do it.
Wow.
Cincinnati Bungals getting a W.
You can still put Steelers for me.
I'm putting Steelers for me as well.
I mean, the one sort of like good thing is that it's in Cincinnati and it's a division game, so they'll probably try a bit harder. Not to say they've not tried hard so far this season. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Bengals fans, of which I can imagine there can only be like loads listening to this podcast.
The Dolphins versus the Browns.
In Cleveland.
Dog pound.
Oh, it's in Cleveland. Oh, that is a hefty swing in favour of the.
I'm also going Browns. I don't feel there's much of a.
James shafted me in the league. Took Baker. Slag. Tried to get him for the playoff running.
Stew.
I'm praying for a good defensive performance from the Browns because I've switched in their defence this week, so I'm going for the Browns.
Minus Myles Garrett could be a risky move.
Do I even need to ask whether anybody thinks the Panthers will beat the Saints? No, I don't.
No.
I know.
And
Move from this jersey to the following jersey.
to this jersey, the Raiders versus the Jets. Personally, I'm going with the black and silver, the grey and black, whatever the hell they call it.
Silver and black attack.
Yeah.
I'm
All day, every day.
I'm with you on that one. Stick me down for Raiders too.
Trifecta.
Not much.
Put a fag paper between us this week.
Oh. The Staffordless Lions, as they're called these days, versus the terrible Redskins. I mean, it's Lions, isn't it? But
They've still got weapons, whereas like you look at that Redskins team and there's just nothing.
Stu?
Lions for me, please.
Obviously, the Lions have still got Golladay. They've still got Marvin Jones, who seems to be sneaky good this season.
This game here is a game that could be promising. I'm not saying it will be. I'm saying it could be. Seahawks Eagles.
Seahawks.
Stu?
I'm going Seahawks too. I thought this was probably one of the most difficult ones to pick this week.
I don't think so. I think the Eagles are not. They're not there.
Seahawks
They put up a decent fight against the Pats. I thought.
Not really. The offense
definitely
was
going to the
bad.
playoffs. What happens after that, who knows? But it wouldn't surprise me if we saw another Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl at this point in the season.
Mm.
You know, they've got plenty of steam, they're moving quite well. Every single week we have to listen to how Russell Wilson's definitely going to be MVP. Although I pointed out to the stats mistress about how, what is it that Russell Wilson's done that every single player in the NFL gets referred to as their surname because, you know, you can see it on the jerseys and stuff. But Russell Wilson's been bumped up to, Russ is doing this. It's like, not even Russell.
First name terms now.
It's Russ. Oh no. The one rushing touchdown Jaguars versus the Titans.
Ugh. This is another one of those games that no one wants to see. It's in Tennessee, it's a divisional game.
It's Titans for me on this one, kids.
Me too.
But only because I have to.
What you both come for the Titans, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Sit me down for the Jag.
I mean, what? Put it down for the Titans.
Absolutely not.
There's part of me that wants to say, do you know something? I think the Cowboys might have this one. Just weirdly.
Look, go back, right? In fact, can you go back? In fact, I'll do it. I'll go and have a look at Prescott's stats for the last couple of weeks because I'm pretty sure he's on like a streak of
He is, but the
4 or
Cowboys
5 games where he's got like
cannot,
300 to 400 yards.
Yeah, but the Cowboys can't get. Did you see last week the Cowboys fans were calling for Jason Garrett's removal?
That was when they were playing against the Vikings, though.
Personally, I don't think there's ever going to be a point I'm not going to put the Patriots down. Weirdly, this was a game where I had a funny feeling, like the Cowboys being not great all season, for some reason they were going to win this game. I am putting the Patriots down. Stu?
Same for me, please.
So, Dak Prescott's last 3 games.
It's nuts, isn't it? Like,
So he played against the Giants, 257 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Vikings, 397 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Detroit Lions, 444 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. In those games, he didn't rush in for a touchdown as well. But I know they got beat against Minnesota at home and stuff like that. But there's something about this Cowboys team that I just really like, and I know that I always seem to pick this game. I always pick against the Pats, and it always bites me in the ass. Apart from the time that I picked the Ravens, when everyone was like, "Oh no, it's the Patriots, it's the Patriots." I was like, "No, the Ravens are legit." But I actually do think the Cowboys can get something here. If you look, the Patriots are not good on offense at all.
They really aren't. But what I would say is it's taken till week 11 for people to actually notice.
But if you've noticed though, the Pats don't. They lost against a team that was good on offense.
Yeah.
They haven't played any other teams that were really good on offense.
And this is something that keeps coming up. Like Bill Burr always talks about this. People will go to him and go, "Patriots are going to walk this season," and his response is always the same. Being a massive Patriots fan, is like, "Who have we played? Who have we played?" And you say the same every week. They haven't had a challenge
until the Jets get better, and until the Bills can get something on offense that's as good as their defense is. They're basically playing a 10-game season because they're already 6-0.
Yeah,
because they'll always beat the Dolphins. Yeah. They'll always beat the Bills twice, and they'll always beat the Jets twice. So they're basically playing. They're at a massive advantage because they're pretty much 6-0 when everyone's at 0 anyway. So yeah.
If you want game of the week, I offer you.
I like this. I like the sound of this one.
Packers versus the 49ers.
In San Francisco as well.
it's a shame that it's on so late.
Yeah, no, that's you can say that for all of them.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Let's see how serious the Niners are.
They've stumbled the last couple of weeks.
They have.
They've eked some wins.
I have that stumble to continue. I'm going Packers.
Yeah, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the same on this one. I think obviously, old Aaron. Did they have the bye last week?
They've got a bye, haven't they?
So they're nice and rested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I'm sure there's a stat somewhere about like Aaron Rodgers in primetime games and stuff like that. It'll be same as Brady.
In primetime games, coming off a bye when the wind's blowing west.
And he's had cheese in his sandwiches all week.
That's the one. That is the one.
But obviously that's the start. The dairy state. So.
Don't agree.
Niners, eh?
Yeah, 49ers for me.
See, I think this is where the Seahawks get the win, the Niners get the loss, and then the Seahawks will go above the Niners on the tiebreak because they're beaten. So I reckon this is where the Seahawks make the kick towards being like the number 1 or number 2 seed in that conference.
And the final game of the week is the Ravens versus the Rams. Now, to me, there's two sides to this. One, on paper, the Ravens should walk this. But weirdly, I have this horrible feeling that no matter how much I bang on about how the Rams are just terrible this season, and they've got a real issue, mostly in the quarterback area, what a surprise it would be that they go, yeah, let's win this one. I put the Ravens down, obviously, because, I'm not an idiot. But I've got this really weird feeling.
This is the fixture that I was looking at for my fantasy team, and I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about the Rams' defence. They've let me down a few times, but it'll probably be that game that then comes back to absolutely bite me.
Right, so if I'd have put the question to you at the start of the season, Ravens, Rams
all day.
Right, but if I'd have said, from that game, if you had to pick which team was more likely to go to the Super Bowl,
Rams all day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you look at how much the season's turned.
Yeah.
And the Ravens, for me, it's been covered on other podcasts that I listen to, mainly the Around the NFL podcast, but everyone's saying exactly the same thing. The Super Bowl goes through Baltimore at this particular time.
I saw it was just priceless. On the UK group was a team transfer form.
Right. Oh,
to transfer
move your
Baltimore.
Right. Okay.
And you had to circle which was your reason, and reason C, Lamar Jackson. Then it was, how long do you expect to stay? And it was for the rest of the season. And one of them was for the rest of Lamar Jackson's career. And I was like that is brilliant.
So at this point, I think that the beauty of it is that the last 2 seasons of watching the NFL have just been awesome for 2 reasons. And it was Mahomes last year, Lamar Jackson this year.
Yeah.
It's just...
I was convinced you were saying Flacco leaving there.
Oh, no, don't. Because what will happen is he'll get cut by the Ravens. Sorry, he'll get cut by the Broncos, and he'll end up at a bloody XFL franchise. And it'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake. Which will mean that obviously at some point he'll go on to fucking SmackDown or Raw, and his face will be all over that, and be like, will you just fuck off?
Yeah.
Don't even start. Because if he has a match against sort of like Braun Strowman or something and beats him, I'll be like, right, that's it.
Make
I'm
the
done.
transition.
I'm done. Yeah. Him against Gronk at WrestleMania 37. No!
Go on, put us out of our misery.
Oh, absolutely the Ravens. Even though it's in LA. On a Monday night.
Is that
with the wind blowing at a
Dew
positive 65-degree angle.
Clean sweep.
Oh, Lamar Jackson, he's just such a fucking baller. Did you see the sort of the fact that Mark Ingram introduced him for the press conference?
No.
He was like, and now I bring to you the head man in the MVP race.
So Mark Ingram or Michael Jackson?
Oh yeah, basically. That's what he sounded like. He was like, but he just kept doing that.
They're talking about how Mark Ingram was like mimicking the Matrix in that play that he had on Sunday.
Yeah, that was good.
Where he just slammed on the brakes.
Well, Scott Anton was like
under that guy. Went around, it was
on Red Zone. Scott Anton was like he put sound effects in it and everything. He was like, watch this, and did the sort of the brakes noise when he stopped, and then just nipped him. So you love to see it. A Flacco-less Ravens. Oh, you just love to see it.
It was probably one of the most enjoyable individual performances that I've seen this season. again, apart from the fact that I was like,
Playing
yes,
against him.
one of my players has scored me some points. Oh, Lamar Jackson scored some more points for me.
I mean, it's just amazing. Just what a
It was
player.
great.
He is an absolute beast.
Just a joy to watch.
And absolutely legit.
Just every time they seemed to think he was going one way, he just took a step the other, and it was like whether he was going to throw it, whether he was going to rush it. It's like,
I mean, that's what makes him so, like, basically next season he'll be a top 10 pick in fantasy because he's not just a quarterback. Obviously, he's a quarterback who can run, so he's a dual threat quarterback.
Not bad for a running back.
So, but yeah, it's just a joy to behold. What a perfect way to end the week.
I have nothing else on my
Agenda.
to-do list. And if you boys have nothing more to offer,
I've never have anything more. I literally
I never have anything to offer.
squeeze every last drop out for this hour and a bit of audio and visual feasting, if you will.
There we go.
What a way to end. Thank you very much, folks.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Goodbye.
Just remember to actually, turn the cameras on.
Always a bonus.
So there you go. What do you think of that? Another one done. Another one in the bag. Another week gone. Super Bowl will be here soon. How are you getting on in your fantasy league? Are you winning? YouTube watchers, make sure you're YouTube subscribers. Click for notifications, drop comments, all of that. Everybody jump over to cookiecast.com. Check us out over there. Send us some love. So there you go. Another week gone. And another week closer to whatever you're looking forward to. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.